right, folks. Okay, it's done. We got the four best teams left in the NFL, at least according to the scoreboard. I think some folks out there probably don't believe so, but you know what? We can ready to kick it around now. I think in my opinion, I think the best game just ended. That's just my opinion right now. I think that was the best game of all the nights. But we're gonna go back all the way to Philly, because since that's where the 49ers going to wind up at. So, I think we'll just start back there. As always, welcome to the corner. And we got our guys here, Elwin, the MVP, Lemont, and hey, we can ready to turn this thing. We can ready to turn this thing up, turn it out, get the dance music off. But before we do that, let me handle some little in-house situations, and we'll be.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
That's right, folks. 281-235-5952, the Ken Ross Agency. It's been my agent for a long time, and I tell you what, like he said, if you give him a call, I mean, he may sound like he's begging on the line. He's not really begging. He just say, call me. Just give me a call, and I can help you solve your problem. But hey, guys, quick go around. Elwin's up in Gilmer, Lemont. Let's see. Oh, you on the Riviera or what? You just got back from. That's the MVP, y'all. I mean, he's nattily dressed. He just got through calling the game in Beaumont, so he's back in.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts, guys. Just initial. No, then we're gonna jump into the game. Initial thoughts, Elvin, and then Lemont. On what are y'all after looking at all four games? I've already gave my initial content. I thought the best game was the one that just ended. That's just me.
Go ahead, Erwin. You went.
Initial thoughts. I still think the Kansas City Chiefs are the best AFC team. I want to think, probably because of being a Dallas Cowboy fan and despising the Philadelphia Eagles, that the 49ers are better than the Eagles. That's going to be one whale of a game. And, of course, a lot of people felt like, because of all the emotion of the Damar Hamlin situation, that the Bills would manhandle the Bengals. That didn't happen. And, of course, since he was in the Super Bowl last year and could have easily won the Super Bowl last year. So, I will have, as far as the way they are playing right now, four best teams in the league. They played better down the stretch than anybody else did. That's why they're there. They deserve to be there.
Lemont, MVP?
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, the four teams, the best teams are there. We just watched the game for this weekend. That was the Cowboys and the 49ers. I think Cowboys just ran out of gas. They ran into a team that can go blow for blow for them on offense and defense, special teams as well. And unfortunately, Cowboys always fall in that situation. 49ers right now has their number, but it's going to be exciting to see the Eagles versus the 49ers, as well as Cincinnati versus Kansas City. And we're going to hear all week about this infamous ankle now for Patrick Mahomes. So we see how quickly that's going to heal before next weekend.
Okay. Let's speaking of next weekend, the Philadelphia and the Giants, which I thought, I'd be quite candid with you, I thought the Giants front four would be. I thought their front seven would accord themselves a lot better than what they did Saturday, and they didn't. And let's face it, we can talk about Matt Jones and all the other stuff. Whatever. But I think, and Philadelphia defense. We've talked about the Cowboys defense. We talked about the 49ers defense. Let me tell you something, guys. Philadelphia is waiting for anybody to walk in that stadium.
Oh yeah.
And if you if you're not ready to play, you're gonna get annihilated. And
That's true.
you gonna get your head handed to you. Everybody was sort of waiting on Jalen Hurts. I thought Jalen Hurts played a very smart game. He didn't do anything he didn't do anything unnecessary that he didn't have to do. He only done what was necessary to win. He did not extend himself. Now, next week, if he has to extend himself, if he has to duck his shoulder and go in there, I think he's going to do it. But the Giants did not force Jalen Hurts to beat them. In my opinion, he did not. I mean, they as a team, Philadelphia put the onus back on the Giants. Okay, you all this in a slice of bread, and I'm not impressed. And that's the way they treated them.
Yeah, the thing is, the Giants, just like the Cowboys in that regular season game against Washington, the Giants never got off the plane yesterday. I mean, they just – you go back to that last game of the regular season, I mean, man, the Giants were playing third stringers against the first stringers of the Eagles, but I think all that tells you is and nearly beat them. But I think what that tells you is the Eagles knew that game didn't mean anything. The Giants, oh man, yeah, we can stay with them, and of course, you know, there's no doubt about it, they weren't able to stay with them. I think the biggest difference is going to be we saw Joey Bosa on the Niners today and what he can do, and everybody's already known what he's done since he's been in the league. And a lot said about it, but I'll tell you what, in my mind, the biggest thing that makes that Philadelphia offense go is none other than Garrison, Texas lineman Lane Johnson, who was a quarterback in high school. That man is the equivalent of two linemen for a lot of teams. He can do it all.
I didn't know that. He was a quarterback in high school?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
High school.
No.
I mean, I know some guys that started off as tight end and wound up at defensive tackle, but I mean, he came all the way from taking a snap to blocking for a quarterback, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder how much money did it cost themselves from having to move from quarterback to tackle? Although they playing blindside tackles a lot of money, he still left some money on the table. Lemon?
Well, he shifted to lineman in college. He did not play quarterback at all in college.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the Eagles versus the Giants, it was one of those situations I believe that the Giants their celebration was winning over the Vikings. Once they beat the Vikings, it felt like that was their Super Bowl to solidify Daniel Jones, get a new contract, as well as Saquon Barkley. He's going to get a new deal. You know, playing the Eagles, this is their third time playing them this season because they play them twice in the regular season. I didn't think the Eagles felt intimidated by the Giants from the rip, playing them at home, well rested. Only thing they was concerned about was their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and see how he was going to respond. And you saw that his performance was outstanding. He came out lights out. And after that, they just said, well, let's go ahead and treat the Giants like we always do in the regular season and just dominate them. They dominated them at home. And Giants took that moral victory. They figured that, hey, we got, you know, no one counted us to be in the playoffs anyway. So for us to be able to get this far and take this L, we'll take it. And next year we'll be a whole better team because Daniel Jones is improved as well as Saquon Barkley. But, you know, the Eagles is the team to beat, man. I mean, everything got to go through Philly. The fans is hard to play in Philly because you got the fans, you got Jalen Hurts. Their defense is playing really good too. So it's going to be a handful for the 49ers, man. They're going to have their hands full early on. And everyone keeps waiting for this rookie quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, to show himself to be a rookie. I think it's going to happen next week against the Eagles.
I think it could too. But you know something, Lemont, that you mentioned talking about, and yes, that's true. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley are going to get huge contracts. They are the 1-2 offensive. Mm-hmm. But that is going to put the Giants in so much of a problem in salary cap.
Yeah.
They're going to lose a lot of key players as well. I look for the Giants to not be as good next year as they are this year.
That's a good point. They got to lock in that quarterback. I mean, Daniel Jones has resurrected himself. They got a new coach. He didn't come there to start over with a brand new quarterback, so he's going to end up keeping Daniel Jones.
Yep.
And Saquon helps him.
Yeah. Oh
So,
no, Saquon is healthy. I think it took him a while, but he's actually healthy, and I think he took a load off of him. But the thing again, I'm going back to the Eagles. The Eagles sort of looked at Saquon because Saquon had been running roughshod especially about the last month of the year. He's run roughshod, and I think the Eagles let Saquon know real quick. You're not in Minnesota. They let him know real quick. You're not in Minnesota. This is not the Minnesota Vikings. And and typical Philadelphia team, they basically just lined up and knocked the hell out of it, hit you in your mouth and dad you to even complain, because if you complain, they'd probably hit you again. But hey, that's that. Hey, let's get to KC. I mean, Lemont, you've already sort of tipped the hand. Is this gonna be the most talked about high ankle sprain going? With Patrick Mahomes? Because go ahead, Lemont.
After we get through the 24-hour window, going into the 48-hour window of the Dallas Cowboys losing, and all the debate shows and everyone get that out their system by Tuesday midday, going into Tuesday afternoon, it's going to switch gears. They're going to talk about the ankle, but going from Tuesday into the weekend, everything is going to be how's Patrick Mahomes. His ankle is going to be, can he hold up? Can he be as mobile as he has through the season against Cincinnati? Because man, Joe Burrow looks phenomenal, bro. I mean, I don't know if y'all. When I watched the game, Joe looked early today, man. He looked like he's all pro, ready to go. It's like his confidence level is at 10 times high, and Jamal Chase is doing his thing too at the receiver spot. So it's gonna be that's the game to watch right there.
And the thing about it, Lemon, as we all know, Cincinnati has beaten the Chiefs the last 3 times they played.
Yeah.
So I mean, one of those scenarios of maybe the Bengals are in the Chiefs' heads.
Yeah.
And in this case, well, perfect example, again, the game just ended. There's no doubt in my mind the Niners are in the Cowboys' heads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be hard. I will say this. As far as I admire both quarterbacks, Burrow and Josh Allen, I actually like Josh Allen more. But I have to admit, personally, I was rooting for Cincinnati today because I did not want Patrick Mahomes to get ripped off of that home field advantage they earned. So for that, I'm glad the game turned out the way it did. But by the same token, Cincinnati went into Kansas City in the championship game last year and won up there. So it's anything but a guaranteed Chiefs win, even if Patrick Mahomes was 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, let me throw this out there, and this is sort of like a down the road. Has the Jacksonville Jaguars actually turned the corner and have gotten Urban Meyer's completely out their system?
Yeah.
Is this the team to beat now in the AFC South now? Looking at what everybody else has, because he's the quarterback in the AFC South now. I mean, who the other quarterbacks? There are none.
No. They're the powerhouse in the AFC South. I mean, at one time, Tennessee Titans were leaning that direction. To me, I think they took a step back. Inconsistency at the quarterback position. They had a lot of injuries there. They're a physical team. We know what their running back can do as well. But no, it's Jacksonville quarterback right now. Man, that comeback victory over I was going to say San Diego Chargers over LA Chargers.
LA Chargers, yeah.
LA Chargers was that's it. That's all you need to know right there. It tells you that he could throw 4 interceptions in the first half, come out to halftime, and light it up in the second as if nothing happened in the first half. That tells you his mindset right there, and his development is getting better each and every game.
He's going to continue. As you know, he was phenomenally good. The guy is not going to do anything but get better.
Yeah, AFC South is soft anyway. I mean, you get past Tennessee. The Texans are the Texans. So I mean, it's not really too many teams, and the Colts are just like the Texans. So I mean, yeah, Jacksonville is the powerhouse in my opinion.
I hate to do a sidebar here, but I got to do the sidebar. Why, with what has happened the last 2 years in Houston, would DeMeco Ryans, despite the fact he was a superstar and everybody loved him in Houston, why in the world would he accept the head coaching position in Houston if offered now?
That's a $1 billion question right there. AD, you're on mute.
You must be muted, AD. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. You must be muted.
We still don't have you. Uh-oh.
Keep it on. Okay. Yeah. So while AD works out his technical difficulties, we're going to keep it going. So yeah, Erwin, I to answer your question, I think there's it's one of those catch-22 things, right? So it's like, as an African American up and coming coach, if you don't take the interview, then they can use that as leverage against you and say, well, he never took the interview. We brought him in for an interview. But if they do offer you the position, it'd be the third African American coach for the franchise. D'Amico is a local fan favorite. People know about him from his days as a middle linebacker leader for the Texans defense. But the most important thing is that, I mean, he's gonna have to bring in, if he's hired, he's gonna have to bring in a strong offensive coordinator or someone to lead that team while he figured things out. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And of course, the thing here I'm hearing, and I don't know what you guys are hearing down there, but I'm hearing that they think he is the front runner because according to what they're saying, they have interviewed everybody they're going to interview now.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I've been watching a lot of stuff that a lot of the beat writers have been tweeting out and writing. I haven't really been engaged as far as through my contacts, but I can see that. I can definitely see. I mean, it gives, from a PR standpoint, it gives the Texans some kind of bright spot because everyone in the city and in the state knows in the country knows that they're rebuilding. Gives D'Amico an opportunity to change that defense around, make it more physical. They got some really good players on the outside, especially in the safety position. So, and offensively, they're gonna have to, draft a quarterback and bring in a strong offensive coordinator, somebody with some leadership and experience to get that thing turned around. So we'll see. If D'Amico's hired, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if anything, I would be excited because you and I know, covering the Texans, he's media friendly. We know him. He's seen us before, so it's one of those things. And again, like you said, a sidebar. I'll be devastated if they brought in somebody with the mentality and personality of a Bill O'Brien.
Same here. They could not do any worse. But my only concern is, in light of what they did to David Culley, in light of what they did to Lovie Smith, when there were not the pieces there to have a winning team, are they going to give him time to build it? I mean, yeah, I know he's got current credibility, #1 defense in the NFL at San Fran after 2 years, but are they going to do him the same way? And that's what concerns me about D'Amico. He deserves better.
Yeah, it looks like we're about to take a break, getting the break sign from AD.
Yep, and we still don't have you, AD.
We still can't hear you.
Well, I can't read lips. Can you, Lemont?
I saw him do the break sign, so I thought he was taking a break, commercial break.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Okay. AD, we still don't have you, brother. Well, what do we want to talk about till AD?
You got 3, and that's all 3 finger. What, 3 minutes? We got 3 minutes. Not if you mean 3 minutes. No, okay, so we don't have 3 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So we recap the Cowboys, recap the Cowboys 49. We talked about the Eagles and their game. We had the Cincinnati recap with the Buffalo Bills, and it sounds like AD's coming back in. Hold on, I heard something going.
I did too. I think I heard his earplug.
Yeah, I thought I heard his earbuds too. But
How about now, guys? You hear me?
There you go.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Hey,
No, you good.
I'm good now. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Hey, that's what you got when you have pros, and they know how to read signs. And I'm glad I used more than one finger.
Nah.
Let's talk about the Bills and the Bengals today. This is the game that I think everybody anticipated watching today, but this is not the game I thought everybody expected today. They anticipated this game, but let me tell you something. Joe Burrows, I don't care how many times he's been sacked, he had 3/5 of an offensive line that was not there. That basically he's dealing with 3/5 of an offensive line that did not play with him the whole season.
Yep.
And they went to Archie Park today, Bills Mafia, and let me tell you, that was one of the craziest atmospheres I ever been around to watch a football game. And they basically walked in there and then shut everybody down.
Yep. Bills were even in that game.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna be quite candid with you. I was surprised at the way the Bills defense up front, that front seven, was pushed around today.
Yeah.
They got pushed around today, and I'm be candid, and I was sort of keeping up with some of my guys up there that covers the Bills, and I think they were just as flabbergasted as we were, especially as I was watching that game today. I'm going like, okay, who done went in there and who's gonna walk into the Bills locker room and put on the uniform? Because this is not the same defense I watched all play all season.
Well,
I don't know what happened.
You know what I think, AD? I think it's what happens a lot in high school, college, and the NFL. Cincinnati struggled starting the season. Everybody wrote them off. They're not going to be near what they were last year. They were a fluke. They were one and done. And the Bills were taking the league by storm. And I honestly think Buffalo peaked too early. Cincinnati learned as they went, grew and grew and grew. They are peaking at the perfect time, just like they did last year.
Yeah. It feels like Cincinnati confidence is built each and every week with each and every play. I want to say, this is just me going on the limb, the Derwin situation is probably it's taking a toll on the Buffalo Bills. People might say they use it as motivation to go forward and they might go on a run, but it could have went the opposite way too, in reverse, where it just felt like, man, let's go ahead and hit the reset button on this whole season and just start over. Josh Allen didn't even look like Josh Allen today. I mean, he looked.
Let me finish your point, Lamont. Because
you good. That's all right. Josh didn't look good. He didn't he was on the same page with Stephon Diggs, and they was disgruntled and arguing with each other on the sideline. That didn't look like the team we saw that Monday night. Teammate got injured.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't know if y'all caught this, but I think on Twitter, and I saw a couple other confirming this, that they had to stop Stephon Diggs from actually leaving the locker room before the coaches gave the post-game speech. He basically walked in, was in the locker room, had thrown all this stuff in a bag, and he was going out the door, and they finally got him to come in, at least stayed till Sean gave his post-game talk. And I'm sitting there going, like, okay, we've all played. I mean, Lemont, you've been up to the show.
Mm-hmm.
as winning that, I mean, frustrations at the point that you win as a team. It's still a Buffalo Bills. It's not the Stephon Diggs. It's the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And if you are that upset that you're gonna leave before your coach, I'm sitting there going like, okay, and I'm going back to these prima donnas.
Yep.
Just because Josh probably had, and he was off. But you know what? I think it was 11 guys on the other side of that field that had a lot to do with your frustrations.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, out the gate. If you rewatch that game, AD and Irwin, that first pass to Diggs, the corner threw him down so hard on the ground, like this is going to be the battle all day. This is how you're going to feel all day. And I just think Diggs realized I'm in the dogfight.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. There was nobody on the Buffalo side to counteract against Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, it was almost reminding me of last year going to LA, because I rode the plane with a lot of his relatives going out there, and I'm going like, oh my God, all are walking around them chasing. It was like a lot of ones running around out there today, because the Bills did not have an answer for Jamar Chase.
No, Jamal
between Burrow and Chase today.
Yeah. Chase did his thing. He attacked their seams, and it seemed like the safety was never around when he went vertical. He just did his thing.
I mean, hey guys. I mean, so for what it's worth, and is Joe Burrow's. I mean, the quarterbacks. I mean, looking at the four quarterbacks that's going to be next week. If you got to rank them, do we rank Joe Burrow as the numero uno quarterback out of all of them for next week?
Yeah, going into the both games.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to factor in the injury with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, I'm just saying because he transferred out of Ohio State, went to LSU, won a championship. He almost became a tackling dummy for the first couple of years in Cincinnati, and he's still been a tackling dummy for the most part. But his sacks doesn't seem to bother him. I mean, this kid, not ice water, and I mentioned it last. This kid's got Freon in his veins, man. I'm serious.
Yeah.
He goes out there and he slings it. And so obviously we looking for a showdown between him and Patrick Mahomes. But guys, like y'all mentioned it, they got the Chiefs number.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And now is it time for the Chiefs? I mean, to me, it's going to be left up to the Chiefs defense. Can they neutralize some of Joe Burrow and Chase and the rest of that receiving core, because those guys are a handful to deal with. They are a handful to deal with. And if they're not ready, folks in Arrowhead might be going home crying on their barbecue ribs again.
and to add on to what you said, AD and everyone, I want your opinion on this as well. Who's your top four? Now, I mean, based on Sunday night tonight, going into the NFC and AFC championship, rank the top four quarterbacks. I got Burrow, I got Joe, I got Jalen. Yeah. And I got Patrick, and I have Purdy. That's my four. But I want to hear what y'all had to say.
I would probably argue with. I think Jalen to me has worked his butt off, but I want to see Jalen in this round, because each round to me proves a little bit something more about Jalen.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so I want to see Jalen. That's why I would not put him above Patrick Mahomes.
Only reason why I put him up there because of the ankle. I'm based on what I saw this weekend.
I would agree with Lemont, AD, only because of the injury. Now,
well, hey, look here. Let me tell you. Something.
Patrick 1 and 1A, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can go with that. And let me tell you something. I saw Patrick, instead of doing a jump pass off the right foot, he did it off the left ankle. I mean, so, hey, man, his drive, we're going to see when he left the stadium, he wasn't in a boot. So, but then so that's a positive. So
Yep.
and so we'll see how that situation goes. But yeah, I like I said, that's my that'll be that would be my only difference, my only disagreement, 2 and 3.
Well,
But but the thing about it, I guess the question, let me ask this, guys: when is Brock Purdy gonna come back to the earth? Come back to earth? Or does this kid know what he's supposed to be doing and not doing?
well, here's the thing in my book. He can come back to the earth. There's so much talent around him. All he's got to do is manage the game. That team is the most talented team in the NFL, bar none, at every position. And I think that's one of the reasons he's successful, along with the fact of not scared. And that makes a lot of difference to me. But to go back to Patrick's ankle, I just want to bring this up real quick. We've all said for years watching him that Patrick Mahomes was superhuman. I think he proved that yesterday, going back with that high ankle sprain and being able to play at all. Because a lot of times if a high school or college kid gets a high ankle sprain, they're out 4 to 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And Pollard today gets the same high ankle sprain. He has to be carted off as is a boot when he walks off. That just shows you not only the mental toughness, but what Patrick Mahomes brings to the table. He is superhuman, but is he superhuman enough to win going up against Joe Burrow with the gimpy ankle? And as much as I'd love to say yes, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, that you know what? I think right now we got 3. I think y'all got it's probably 1 against 3, 1 against you 2. I still think that what he does, the way nobody because Patrick Mahomes he doesn't throw that pretty nice over the shoulder pass. Patrick can throw a sidearm pass for 60 yards, and that's what we expect. We do not expect him to sit there and give us that perfect, nice picture Tom Brady-esque pose. That's not Patrick Mahomes. He throws the rock, and plus the thing about it, I think what makes him is dangerous besides Travis Kelce is the fact that he has confidence in Scanlon and all the rest of those receivers around there. The best thing that happened to him was the cheetah left, and then he got all the rest of his receivers involved as far as the Kansas City offense. And I think, to me, the onus next week is going to be on the Kansas City defense. Can they show up? Kansas City defense is going to have to show up next week because Joe Burrows is going to make them earn it all. Last game, guys, the one we just looked at, the one we just called, I thought was the best game of the whole night. What is it about Dak Prescott that he can be so efficient and effective, and then he turns around and do some of he threw some passes that he should have either thrown earlier or thrown away or not thrown at all. I'm not understanding this, guys.
It's the pressure, AD. When he's got time, he is as solid as Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, but he cannot handle pressure. When the offensive line down, he falls apart 80% of the time. He just can't handle pressure for some reason or other. And it's hard to understand. I don't know why, but it's the pressure is what's killing him.
I did. I'm gonna break it down. I think when I analyzed the game and I was watching it, that last drive kind of summed it up for me. I mean, he almost took a sack in the end zone. I mean, I think his awareness I think at times his awareness on the field can be his downside, his downfall. I think sometimes the moment's too big for him, and the expectation based on what everyone's saying, as far as playing for the Cowboys, and it's it can be overwhelming. I think when Pollard went down, I thought the Cowboys lost their motivation. I think what's the name is Ezekiel Elliott is more of he's more of a complimentary back. I don't think Tony Pollard is their workhorse.
Oh,
and when they saw their workhorse go down, everyone knew that Dak couldn't carry this by himself. And that's basically what happened for the Cowboys.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something else that last drive, and I was looking at Schultz on that pass play that casually. I mean, when you get to the sideline, I think if it's not ingrained in every NFL wide receiver, when you they dragging their toes, they know they got it down. It's almost they are on their toes going out of bounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a mental error right there. That I'm just going like, what the devil?
He just enough. It's like he thought, okay, I got this. We're okay. And another thing, you're right, Lamont. Pollard was the workhorse and has been the workhorse all season because of Dak's huge contract that's given him to begin with. They're not going to be able to trade Zeke in the offseason. Nobody's going to take on that kind of money because obviously his production has gone down, which means Pollard's coming up in free agency. Pollard's going to be gone. There's not going to be a Pollard there next year with Zeke. So that's major problems along with salary.
Yeah, it depends on how bad the ankle too. If it might need surgery, it might take him a while to get back.
True.
Well, if that's the case, then Dallas is going to be looking for running backs. Period.
Yes.
Man, that's not the only thing AD they're going to be looking for. I won't be surprised if the talk now of Sean Payton's coming around because.
Well, Elwin, you want to go ahead? You already broke that earlier. You want to go ahead and get back at it again?
Why not? I mean, I think Jerry swore up and down before Monday night's game, which, as you know, I had a press pass for and attended and covered. But before that game, Jerry swore up and down, no matter what happens, even if Mike McCarthy loses in Tampa Bay, he's our coach. He's given us back-to-back wins for the first time in over a decade. But at the same time, Jerry Jones is known for saying one thing and doing something else many times years that he's on the team. And I think with this exit and the failure to manage the clock properly there near the end of the game, I honestly think if John under the table conversation, I think it could happen. It could be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
So you two guys thinking Sean Payton is coming in there now?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it could happen, and just like Lamont just said, it would not surprise me if it happened.
So we can rest assured that Sean Payton is not coming to the Houston Texans for the 12th round. Huh?
Yeah, when you was having your technical difficulties, we think it's going to be D'Amico.
Yep.
Okay, I don't. You know what? As much as I like D'Amico, and as much as I want to see him here,
Why would Sean Payton leave a deal that he had on the table for the Saints in a rebuilding process already over there to come to the Texans as bottom barrel?
I agree. I think that comments that he laid out in the paper here that he would consider Houston, that was to drive up his bargaining point. And that all that was a bargaining chip for him, and the Texans were used was a bargaining chip for him. And there's no way I thought that Sean Payton, because I've seen the local folks said that they'll be willing to give up the 12th. I mean the 12th, the number one pick, that 12th pick in the first round for Sean Payton. I'm going like, you need players. I mean, I know he can devise schemes and all this other thing. All the schemes in the world don't make up for not having players.
No, and here's another thing. That came out yesterday. I don't know if either or both of you saw it or not, but because of what Sean Payton is drawing interest-wise and the interviews he's had, the Saints announced yesterday, as everybody knows, they still own his rights.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They announced yesterday a first-round draft pick is not going to get it. They want a first-round draft pick and a second-round draft pick.
Oh, yeah, they hold all the cards.
Yeah, they hold the trump card thing. And, of course, the Texans could do it with the extra picks they got. But my only argument to that would be, I know he lost some pieces in New Orleans, but Sean Payton hadn't exactly set the woods on fire in the last couple of years down there. And I'm wondering if maybe he may be getting to the end of his rope and that maybe the game is beginning to leave him behind a little bit.
Hey, it's to be seen. My only, just let me just get at this quick sidebar about D'Amico. My only thing about D'Amico, how much will does this leave Nick Caserio controlling too much during game day?
That can
That
as long as Nick Caserio is in Houston. That was my concern when Nick Caserio came to Houston, and that's still my concern. That's why if I'm D'Amico Ryans, I got to think twice about that.
Yeah, I think if D'Amico comes in, it could be a 2-for-1 for Nick. Nick can sneak in the lower tier guy that he wanted. I forgot his name. The guy that he wanted at Coach High School that didn't really.
Josh
McCown.
You talking about Josh McCown?
Yeah, he can bring in some of the guys he really want to bring in on the offensive coordinator. Give Nico the title as a coach, but also be able to have some input on his staff or who he can hire for the offensive side.
But by the same token, that though, Lamont, what NFL head coach is going to be want to be told? Well, okay, you're my head coach, but I'm pulling all the assistant coaches or a certain number of assistant coaches. You don't input in that. Then the head coach is not even really feel like it's his team.
Yeah. Well, that's the opportunity that they present to D'Amico probably. It's like, I mean, you think about it, Nick ain't going to give up that much control. He's not going to surrender everything to a coach.
Yep, he will not.
So
he's
going to have to bring in a rookie coach that's excited for the new opportunity, that specializes in one side of the ball, which D'Amico does defense. So he said you have all the latitude for the defense side of the ball, but offensively, I'm going to bring in an experienced coach or someone that I handpicked to run the offense.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. The Arizona Cardinals just hired a guy just as a GM that has Patriots ties. But if you go back and look at his track record, he's had stops at other places.
Right.
My question with Nick, and it's my question with Nick all along, all of his stops has been in one spot. And so my question, and I'll throw this out to you all, and I've always offered, unless you bring in Bill Belichick in there, who's the guy who was running everything. I mean, I'm not seeing it, guys. Belichick's not coming in that door.
I have not been impressed with Nick Caserio yet.
Well, it's on him. He's on the clock now, so he can't point the gun at nobody else but himself now.
Well, if he wants to get really technical about it, I didn't think David Culley was the right choice to replace Bill O'Brien. I thought Lovie Smith should have gotten at least 2, if not 3 years to see what he could build. But like you say, Lamont, he's on the clock now because both of those guys were his hand-picked choices.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in this football game as well as a baseball game.
And even if it wasn't publicly, it looked like it was. Even if it was privately, someone said, "Hey, no, you need to pull the trigger on these guys." Publicly, It looked like it was his decision.
Hey guys, I got a comment here from Joe Maddox. He called them the Houston Patriots.
When Bill O'Brien was hired, actually a little bit, I said, "This is the New England Patriots South."
Yeah.
Well, hey, it very much is. I mean, the Texans was risking tampering charges and everything else, and they finally got the guy. And so far, he had to clean up a lot of O'Brien stuff, but like you said, the Texans on the clock and whatever. All right, guys, as we get ready to wrap this up, your closing comments about the divisional playoffs, your winners for next week, and then we'll get together next week if we everybody got the time. Let's see, yeah. I'm sitting there going like, what time? Yeah, because I should be back in town. But we'll get together next week after it's all said and done. If you guys got your schedules clear, and we'll talk about the division round and get ready to go for the Super Bowl. But as we wrap it up, Elvin, you got it, and then Lemont, you can close it out, and then I'll come back and clean up the home plate.
Well,
okay.
My heart wants to go with Kansas City because of Patrick Mahomes, because of the ankle injury. I got to go with Cincinnati again, make it 4 wins in a row over the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. In the NFC Championship, man, Jalen Hurts is going to be hard to beat. especially at home. And the way those Eagles fans are, as y'all recall, they even booed Santa Claus in here. Tough place to play. As much as I would like to see the Niners pull it off, just because of Purdy, if nothing else, rooting for the underdog, I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be a Philly and Cincinnati Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with Irwin. I think Cincinnati's is playing bully ball. I really think offensively, Joe Burrow is playing at an all-time high confidence level. Eagles is going to be led by their defense. First and foremost, Jalen, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over against the 49ers, tough defense, he should be straight. But Brock Purdy, I think he's going to finally look like a rookie. He's going to finally look like Mr. Relevant against that Eagle defense, tough environment to play. And I got the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, playing against Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, gentlemen, like I said, I thank y'all for digging time out.
But AD, let me
yeah.
a second. What are we want to hear your thoughts?
Philadelphia and Cincinnati.
All right.
No, I mean I got my issue. My issue is the fact that and I'm not going to be surprised. I won't. Let me put it like this: I'm going Philadelphia and Cincinnati. It's just that the fact that I'm like you guys. I'm not so sure how bad that high ankle sprain is. Right. He came out there, and I almost thought that the Chiefs was going to have to pick him up after each play and carry him up to the line of scrimmage, like Byron Leftwich. Remember when Byron Leftwich was that monster, and they had to pick him up and carry him? Yep. I almost thought that was what's going to happen. But I tell you what, Patrick Mahomes might be sleeping in a hyperbolic chamber all this week if that. Mm-hmm. If that can help him, to heal, but as it stands right now, with those T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and those guys, I'm looking at what again. I think those guys are going to expose Kansas City's defense. Mm-hmm. I think the Chiefs can score. I think the Chiefs can exploit some weaknesses on Cincinnati, but vice versa. I think Joe Burrows with those receivers, Higgins, Jamar Chase, and that whole group, I think they can match him stride for stride. And let's face it, will we get to see DJ Reader for a second Super Bowl in a row? For all intent and purposes. So yeah, I'm going that it'll be the Bengals and the Eagles, and we'll get to see channel views on Jalen Hurts, man. Mm. I mean. It's one, and I looked at his post game, and it was almost like watching his post game. The one I think Lemont, you had his post game and it's almost like it's something about his demeanor, it's something about his aura about him that he's never too far, he's never too high, he's never too low, he's steady. And the thing about it. He's got a chip on his shoulder about as big as all outdoors. And he's waiting to prove that, because a lot of folks still question, should he have been an NFL quarterback? Should he have been drafted by the Eagles that high? And the thing, I know he worked his butt off this past and his passing and the thing about it, he's actually throwing receivers open now. And that's the difference on an NFL quarterback, and you guys know that. He actually throws receivers open and not waiting for them to get open. He actually can throw them open now. And that's, to me, that's the difference, guys, and which Joe Burrows is doing anyway. But he's up on that level now that he can literally throw a receiver open like Mahomes. And so, Mr. Irrelevant, we'll see exactly will the Eagles just really make him irrelevant next week. But hey, guys, I appreciate it. Right. As always, guys, thank you. And we'll hook it up next week, and if not, we'll be ready to get out to Glendale and ride it out and see what's going on out there. So hey, guys, thank you as well. Y'all take care and have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. All right, guys. As we get ready to wrap this up and we wrap it to the close, this NFL season is winding down. Jerry's disappointed. Got to get on this nice plane and come on back home to Arlington or wherever the Cowboys in Frisco or whatever they play, and got to figure out what's wrong there. Will Mike McCarthy get fired? Who knows? I don't know. But next week, the AFC Championship, the NFC Championship, As I already stated, I'm going with the Eagles and the Bengals to come out on top and wind up being in Glendale. So, without further ado, as we get ready to call it to a close, thank you all. Thank y'all that was listening. Thank y'all that had comments in the comment corner. And this is your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, wishing you all, hey, have a good time. If you be safe out there. The weather's still bad. Be careful with COVID and all the pneumonia and all the flu and everything else. If you haven't gotten your shots, please get your shots. Peace, ciao. I'm out, guys, and we gone, and look to see you next week.